Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell now under a criminal investigation by the Justice Department. President Trump has clashed with the Fed chair over interest rates. Today, I spoke with legal and economic experts about this probe and how it could impact your wallet.
But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure.
Late Sunday, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell released this rare statement denying any wrongdoing after the Department of Justice issued subpoenas Friday to the central bank.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
The criminal investigation comes as President Trump continues his public campaign for Powell to lower interest rates even further. In an exclusive interview Sunday with NBC News, the president denied any involvement in the investigation, saying in part, "No, I wouldn't even think of doing it that way." What should pressure him is the fact that rates are far too high. That's the only pressure he's got.
This is a significant escalation in the dispute between President Trump and Jerome Powell.
Jessica Levinson is a constitutional law professor at Loyola Law School.
It is certainly the case that presidents and people in Powell's position have disagreed about economic policy, and they've done so vigorously. We've never been in a situation, as far as I can remember, where the Department of Justice opens up a probe.
Powell was first appointed as Fed chair in 2017 by then President Trump and reappointed by President Biden. Since taking office again, President Trump has called on Powell to lower interest rates significantly. Powell hesitant to do so for fears inflation would rise once again.
When the central bank changes interest rates, there's a trade-off. Boost the economy today, but at a cost tomorrow in terms of inflation that erodes people's wealth and people's incomes.
Gary Richardson is an economics professor at UC Irvine and a former official historian of the Federal Reserve. He says a number of presidents, both Republicans and Democrats, have called for lower interest rates because it can serve them politically. But Richardson says he and most other economists generally agree with Powell's policies.
The Federal Reserve, it's doing a good job, right? There is no credible business person or economist or even politician that is criticizing the Federal Reserve.
Republican Senator Thom Tillis now threatening to block any of President Trump's replacements for Powell if the criminal investigation continues. Meanwhile, President Trump is also calling on credit card companies to cap interest rates at 10% for 1 year. But Richardson says the president would have to work with Congress to do that.